It looks like someone's tax return just hit. What's up, everyone? It's Zen of Cars, and we're putting a Linkswell 10.4-inch touchscreen in a 2018 Ram Megacab. If you've ever pulled one of these dash bezels, you'll know they're actually pretty easy to do, and this one's even easier because this one doesn't have the center console. So let's get started. I've got a bolt separation tray, a full Torx kit, and a light, and then a small 3/8 ratchet, and a little micro quarter ratchet, and an extension. You're going to want this mainly because you're dealing with a lot of small screws and you don't want to lose them. To get started, you're going to come up here, you're going to take this rubber pad out. There's 2 screws there. You're going to take your little quarter and spin them off. And then you're just going to set them in the tray. There's a second little flap down here, which conceals another T20. With your extension, you're going to buzz that one out too. And set it with the rest. Now you're going to come in here with one of these plastic pry bars and you're going to gently work it between these two. These have reverse facing tabs, and they will break if you just yank up on this tray. It's also tucked behind the dash, so you're going to want to peel this back just a tiny bit, be gentle, and then you can take this off. Now that we have that off, we can take the dash bezel off, which is just clipped in here. Be gentle because there's wires and plugs behind them. You don't want to rip them out when you pull this off. But what you can do is you can just kind of give it a gentle tug, and then it comes off just like that. Tilt it down to see all the wires you need to unplug. Start with the 12 volt on the passenger side and work your way across. You want to release the ones with the most tension first so they're in a stress position for the least amount of time. Alright, your next step is to take the bezel off. It's a whole bunch of 7s, so get a quarter drive 7mm and just take them off with a quarter drive ratchet. And then we're going to gently remove the old head unit and unplug it as we did with the bezel. If you're struggling getting them out, you're going to want a pair of these pliers to gently tug on the plugs. Specifically the maroon one and the mustard one. For Edward's scissor plug here, you're just going to press this tab in. It's going to pop there, and you can just slide this plug out. And with the bezel, we're going to set the screen in a nice safe place. Open our box here, and we see the bezel unit and all the wiring harnesses. Really cool with this kit is you don't have to modify the faceplate in any way. You just unscrew it, it takes out the climate control, and it already adapts to it. It's a whole bunch of Phillips screws along here to take this out. What it does mean is all of this will now be one piece versus a separate infotainment, so all of it will have to be plugged in at the same time, so just be careful with your wires. There are 13 Phillips screws, 3 on the bottom, 2 on the top, and 4 on the sides. The old bezel just drops out. Make sure to keep all your screws organized. So once you have it out of the bag, you're going to take this plastic wrapping and you're going to peel it so it exposes the screw holes but doesn't come off the screen. And it looks like you're only going to use 12 of the 13 screws to screw it back in. Wi-Fi, your CAN bus, your GPS, and your USB cable. I put it in this glove box here. Routed it all correctly, you don't have to cut the dash. And screw it back in, it fits as the factory one does. And don't forget,